Hi, this is Carolyn, and I'm here with Aaron, and we are so excited to have Laura back with us tonight. Laura is the Executive Director of Western Wake Tennis Association, and she is the Southern Awards Committee Chair. So, Laura, thank you so much for being here.
Great to be back with you girls.
Yeah. So can you tell us how you got your position with the Southern Awards Committee, and can you tell us exactly what you do?
Sure. So tennis, unlike other sports, is a sport that's programmed more. I mean, you can do walk-up play and everything, but really when you look at tennis, tennis is a programmed sport. And a lot of the programming is run by nonprofits, so they don't have a lot of staff. So a lot of volunteers are required. So you can volunteer at your local community tennis association, but then also there's opportunities to volunteer at the state level. For us in Southern, I'll talk mostly about Southern, the districts are states. Other sections are not states. They're made up of different districts, but I'm going to talk about states. So you have an opportunity to apply for committee positions at the state level with USTA North Carolina, and they're like 2-year terms. And that might be on the awards committee, or it might be like junior competition or adult league or community tennis or whatever. And usually that's where you start. You do something for the state level or the district level first. And then what happened after I did some of those, I applied for a Southern section committee. There's also national committees, usually you, again, going up through the chain. And I was accepted on the awards committee, which is a really cool committee to be on. And so I did that for 2 years. And this is my third term as the Southern Awards Committee Chair. And it's a really good gig because you're dealing with people and events that are doing great things with and through tennis for communities. So that's kind of how you become a volunteer. Through tennis. And then what the Southern Awards Committee does is we do the selection of the winners that come up through the states. So the 9 states in the Southern District. We do the selection. We make, we reach out to them and let them know that they won. And then in a normal year, not 2020 because we were in a pandemic, but in a normal year, we put together an awards luncheon for about 150 to 200 people, which is actually easier than what we had to do in the pandemic, which was we tried to do like local awards. So I'm really excited to be going back to doing the annual luncheon for that.
So is that like a red carpet event?
It is a red carpet event.
Is this like the Grammys or the for?
Well, you know what?
Southern?
My committee added music a couple years ago, so it's totally like the Grammys. You start talking to them, we raise the music to get you out of there.
There you go. That's awesome.
That's great.
Can you tell us about a few interesting people who have won in the past? Because it sounds like now this is your 3rd year involved. Is that right?
It's my 6th because they're 2-year terms.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So either they like what I'm doing as the awards committee chair, or they can't find anyone else to do it.
Or no one else is applying. Gotcha.
It's really a combination of both. But it really is a good gig because selecting the winners is actually hard because you're selecting winners or the award winner from these amazing people and events anyway. Right. So to come up with a couple would be really difficult, but 2 kind of come to mind. One is a gentleman that lives in Wilmington, and his name is Lenny, and he runs a national tennis and learning or nonprofit, which is NJTL. And his organization is called One Love. And he's a very dynamic, fun speaker. And he gets up on the stage and everyone's engaged and listening to what he's saying. And I know what the last time we were raising the music and raising the music.
I'm going to go, Lenny.
Because he really didn't care. But so he's really fun and he's doing great things. And an NJTL is like, it's tennis and learning for under-resourced, underprivileged kids. And he does amazing things through that. Actually, he knew Arthur Ashe too. So
wow.
He was always interesting to talk to about that. The one that stands out the most, and this is kind of a hard one to get started, but it's good. It was actually 2019, and it was the Wheelchair Excellence Award winner. And it's the last award. And we had a few people that kept talking and talking. And I was really afraid that this really good looking, fun man that was in a wheelchair wasn't going to get a chance to talk. And I wanted to hear what he had to say. And I kept doing this, to try to get these other people to be quiet.
Yeah. Pull them off the stage.
Luckily, our MC knew that I was concerned, and he shortened some things. So anyway, we called Jeremy up, and he comes up in his wheelchair. He can't get on the stage because we've got stairs up to the stage. So we meet him down, me and the president of USTA, the Southern president. We meet him, we give him a microphone, and he starts talking, and he says, after my accident, I was in a really, really bad place. I didn't know if I was going to survive it. I didn't know how I was going to go on. And I'm like sitting there going, like, first of all, when they take our pictures, it's hard enough for me to keep my eyes open, let alone be bawling. And he's, talking about this dark place he was at. And he said, one day I was out, and these two chicks rolled up to me in their wheelchair, and they said, "Do you play tennis?" And he goes, "We do that." And they said, "Yes." And he went and played tennis, and he became an amazing tennis player. And he did all kinds of lessons and clinics for other people in wheelchairs and people not in wheelchairs. But that's the kind of people that we get to meet through awards and things like that.
Yeah.
So
that's funny. I love that he turned it into
something
funny where you thought it was going to be a sob session.
Because you feel it. Because it's so dramatic, how he got into a chair, but then Tennis Lee changed his life again. So it's the power of tennis. So
yes, exactly. And we believe everybody has a great tennis story. People don't think they do, but everybody has a great story. Tennis has done something for every person that plays it. One way or the other. Everybody has a story.
You are spot on that. So yeah.
Can you tell, since you are in charge of the awards committee, if someone listening knows someone that should be nominated for an award, can you tell them how they can do that?
I can. I can tell you specifically for the Southern section, and then make a suggestion for the other sections.
That would be great.
If you go to USTA.com and put sections into the search box, it'll show you a map of the United States, and then you just click on this section, and there'll be contact information, okay? So that you can contact the section and say, hey, I want to find out about awards or whatever for your section. So for the Southern section, there's a portal that has all 9 of the states. So if you go to the Southern section portal, you would look at all the states, and it's really simple. You just click on the state. So for me, I would click on North Carolina, and then all the awards, and there's a lot of them that they give out. So you would see all the awards, and then you would decide what you were going to nominate. And for example, you might want to nominate for, I don't know, the Grady Elmore Media Excellence Award. And you would go to that and take a look, and you might say, you know what, I think Second Serve Podcast has done a really great job with promoting tennis.
Good idea. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
we'll take that. We'll take any award.
Yeah. So then you would fill out this nomination form,
right,
and then submit it. But I will tell you, we've gotten nominations that might say Second Serve Podcast is so good, they're creative, and they do a really good job.
That's it, right?
And it might be true. But somebody else is going to say, well, Second Serve Podcast has 67 podcasts that they've done. They've got a website. They've got Facebook, and here's a picture of that. And they've got this, and these two ladies do all this stuff, and they have these interesting topics. But my point is that you want to spend a little time in making the nomination good and solid, without too much information, because after a while, when you're reading 10 nominations or 9 nominations for a category, and you want to make sure you give it its due, but you want to put together a decent nomination. I feel like you can do that in 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, with just a little bit of thought going into it. So then if you're in another state, you would just click on that. Or if you were in another state and you wanted to nominate someone in North Carolina, you could do that. But you want to nominate to the state, and then the state then chooses their winner, and then their winner is nominated up to Southern, and then we get to choose them.
Right. We had a friend, I just have a little story. We had a friend that we play with that was I was with her in a car. We were at States at the time, and we were, running to get lunch and then going back to the courts to play another match or something. And we were talking about the match, and then she was in the back seat, and then all of a sudden she reads her email as we're all just chit-chatting about the match, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, I just won the Sportsmanship of the Year award."
That's
and
right.
I was like, "Oh my gosh." And I had nominated her too and kind of forgotten.
Right,
it's like
right.
months go by before you hear. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I nominated you for that too." And I know other people did, because she really is truly a great sportsman. But it was just so funny because we were just chit-chatting in the car, and we just all happened to be together when she got that, when she was
fun. It is fun. Actually, I have a funny story about that. Somebody that got an award thought it was a joke, thought the email was a joke. And so they were
That's great.
I had told this group, I said she won. They wanted to make a big deal out of it. And she said she thought it was like a spam. It was like somebody was
made up a spam.
It was so funny.
Oh, that's funny.
It's neat to do. But the portal opens early, but then closes. I think the North Carolina ones, or most of the Southern ones, you look at about August 31st. So if you nominate in March, you would forget. And then they would get notified in September.
Yeah, I even went through and tried to find what I'd written about her, but I realized I put it in the portal. And so I didn't have like a copy of what I wrote. And believe me, I was not the only one. So it wasn't like my nomination was, the one that got it for her, because she certainly deserved it. But it was just so funny because we were just at States and actually playing matches and talking. And then all of a sudden she was like, "Oh my gosh, I just got an email,"
That is great. That's really fun.
Yeah. And she got it on a year that she could go to the luncheon, which was great. So her family was able to go. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you that when I started playing tennis soon after, somebody asked me to help with a charity tournament that's for hospice. At that time, it was Hospice of Wake County, and now it's Transitions Life Care. But I won, my team won Charity Event of the Year, and we went down to Pinehurst for the award. And I was stunned. I'm like looking around, like all these cool things and all these passionate people with tennis. It just is another thing, again, the power of tennis and what it is. And that Pinehurst thing, it's a fun deal. It is fun.
Yeah. She met a bunch of great people.
Yeah. And I saw that the Marilyn Sherman Spirit Award is an award people can nominate for. And we've had Marilyn Sherman on this podcast, and we were talking about how cool it was to have an award named after you. And she was so funny because she was like, "And I'm still alive,"
And
so. But Laura actually, oh, sorry, is that a Southern word? Because Laura actually won that award.
I did.
Yes.
I did, and it's nice to be named an award after her, because she really, she's really something else with all her energy and everything like that.
Yeah. So I noticed that some of them, and I don't know if this is every district or every section, but some of them are certainly they're local, but there are some that go on to nationals. Correct? So there's some awards that kind of just stay in your local area, and then some that if you're awarded a certain award, it goes on to another committee. Is that correct?
That's correct. So there's awards that states have, or the districts have, that Southern doesn't have, and then there's awards that Southern has that that national
does not
has. And I have a form that I thought you might be able to use to show people like the differences, for what some states offer and other states don't, or whatever. It's a personal it's a state preference.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah.
Oh, can we share that sheet with everyone, Laura?
Please share the sheet, and I can send you that link for all the sections, as well as the Southern portal, so that you can nominate to any of the Southern states.
Okay, that's great. We'll share that in our show notes. Thank you, Laura. That will be fantastic.